call this meeting of the Southside Network Authority to order for November 14th. Good to see everybody here. We're going to do a roll call, but before we do, as part of that roll call, I just want to make an introduction to a new member at the table. Doug Beaver from the City of Norfolk, our newest member, our alternate for Norfolk. Our Deputy City Manager, Doug.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to meet you. I've been 8 years with the City of Norfolk. Prior to that, 27 years in uniform with the Navy. So I see some familiar faces around here. It's great to join the organization and fully contribute. Thank you.
Good to have you here.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard. Yeah. Okay, with that, Mr. Nixon, would you mind doing the roll call?
Yep. Ms. Ritter here. Chairman Cohen here. Mr. Carter is not here. Dr. K.
Present.
Ms. Wilson here. Mr. Patrick is here. Mr. Beaver is here. Mr. Hayes is here.
Present.
Ms. Days is virtual, right?
Yep.
That's affirmative.
Gotcha. And then Mr. Wallace is here. Present. Okay. We have a quorum.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes, Mr. Lockerbie.
Do we anticipate Ms. Days needing to participate in order to vote on anything?
No, because Dr. K.
Okay, because Dr. K is here. I'm just making sure you weren't going to leave at 2 o'clock or something like that. All right, because otherwise we should
to do
go
that.
through the whole.
Understood. Thank you for being our wise attorney. With that, we'll move to the approval of the agenda. I'm looking for a motion and a second to either approve or modify the agenda. Do we have a modification to discuss first?
Modified agenda, yes.
Please note that the agenda was modified slightly, in that we added 2 closed session items. Okay. So with that modification of the additional 2 closed session items, I'm looking for a motion to approve.
May I ask a question?
Ms. Ritter.
On the agreement with VDOT, is that going to be an open session discussion, or does that have to be moved, the vote have to be moved following?
It's going to be in 2 parts, Ms. Ritter. One part will be in open, and the second part will be in closed. And then we'll come out of closed, and we'll ask the board to vote.
Okay.
So, man, you're right. I think that would make there be, actually the VDOT thing becomes 2 different agenda items, one of which is the initial presentation, and then at the end there being a vote on it, potentially, if that's what the board chooses to do. But in the middle, there is an item we need to talk about.
Okay, then, number 5 is the recommended action can't take place at that time in the agenda, correct?
No.
That's correct. So
So
we need to
then I would
modify the
offer
agenda.
that amendment, that
Thank you.
would be moved to the end of the agenda.
Yes.
Good job. Thank you, Ms. Ritter. I appreciate you
Yep.
recognizing
Huh?
that.
Oh, yeah, this is why people don't usually like me places.
I appreciate your attention to detail.
Thank you.
So, just to confirm, we are well, there is not yet a motion, but I'm looking for a motion.
All right, I'll make the motion to modify the agenda to move the action item number 5 on the VDOT agreement post to the end of the meeting following the closed session.
Correct, that would be number 8. We'll move that to the items out of closed session.
Okay, I wasn't that far in the weeds, but okay, great.
I missed detail. Okay, I appreciate that. And is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved by Ms. Ritter, seconded by Dr. K. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Aye. Yes. Aye. Any opposed? Move on to the public comment session. We have, are there any folks here who are interested in making comments for 3 minutes?
I believe Mr. Cody would like to be recognized, but I think he will make his comments closed.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that good with you, Mr. Cody?
Yep.
Okay. Have there been any submitted public comments? Moving to our meeting minutes from the October 10th meeting that have been forwarded to you all. Hopefully you've had a chance to review them. Are there any changes that need to be made? Is there a motion to approve the minutes from October 10th? Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Kay. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes as presented for the October 10th meeting signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Those are approved. Mr. Lyon, would you provide us with a construction update?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We're going through the construction updates as is of November 14th, 2025. This is our outline. We're going to talk about the timeline, production maps, production dashboard, member cities, each updates, VDOT, and any questions at the end. So this is our current timeline as it states right now from November. I still have it to be determined. It's kind of premature right now in regards to how Virginia Beach is going to be looking in regards to the construction process. But I do have an update on construction as well when that will begin and moving forward. So once we get through the holidays and kind of in January, then we can have a set date and completion of the ring at this time. Okay. So this is our production through October 25. We have 73% of conduit, 68% of handholds, 20% of fiber installed, and 66% of the tracer wire installed. That's between all 5 member cities at this time. This is our conduit map. This is only showing conduit. Green shows complete, red shows pending at this time. No real change month over month. We have completed some railroads, which we will discuss for each member city at this time. Here's a fiber production map. This is fiber that's in the ground right now. Green is completed, orange is pending. You see most of the fiber is in Norfolk and Suffolk Portsmouth at this time, and we do have some in Suffolk on the top and the very west side at this point. So for the city of Chesapeake, they're 100% complete. Final walkout. So yesterday and today, Mr. Curl from the city of Chesapeake, we walked out the SNA route, pulled every single handhold, took pictures of everything, documented everything. So there's about 4 items that needs to be addressed, and they're very minor. It's in regards to mule tape and tracer wire. And that's all that's remaining to be done in 4 locations. We've identified those 4 locations. Mr. Creel has already contacted his contract partner to make those repairs. Once they do, they will send me the pictures to meet both of Mr. Curl and myself, so we can verify at that time. And then with that being said, then we can proceed with the co-bill agreement with Mr. Lockerbie. That was a pending item that needed to be checked off with the inspection piece before the agreement can move forward. And that is, I would say, 99% complete in regards to the remaining 4 areas that need to be addressed at this time.
Mr. Lance, I have just a silly question, but I understand. Well, first of all, congratulations to Chesapeake. Get 100% gold
Where's
star.
Jay Craig? Congratulate Jay.
Gold star. Yeah. In terms of the fiber, what is the? It looks like everything's done. It just the fiber needs to be pulled. Is there a? What's the determination? When does that happen? How do you make that decision? Is that the co-build agreement have to be signed first?
Yes, that's
Okay.
that's the only
So
thing.
that's the thing that's keeping the fiber.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify that.
And Danella has already started walking it, but they haven't been able to pull anything as yet, but they have walked the route to see the route and the path as it is right now. So they're just waiting on that final agreement to execute.
Probably said that. I just didn't
Yeah, no worries.
process properly. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All right, shifting over to the city of Norfolk, downtown Granby Reload is under construction. A third-party construction crew has packed up and left the area, so Danella is in there right now. They have crews. potholing, also drilling. We got a couple of 100 feet in that area. Just south of that on East Virginia Beach Boulevard and West Bremerton Boulevard, we're going to reschedule that to late November, early December. Reason being is the bridges. We want to get over to Virginia Beach with the bridges first, and then kind of move back over into Norfolk and complete that. We can have all the bridge crews work on all the bridges at one time and knock those out as quickly as possible. As far as railroads go, East Little Creek is under construction. That may be completed today. There was one pipe that was about 12 feet deep we had to identify, and we had to call their engineers out there to identify them with us, and that was identified yesterday with Danella and team. So that may be wrapping up as I'm speaking right now. So that is moving along with East Little Creek Railroad. And then the Buckingham branch, we rescheduled that for December because we got another flag personnel from Rail Pros in Suffolk that we moving the railroad crews over there. So as we get these approved for the railroads, we're going to shift crews as need be to complete those construction in the time frame that they give us, which is usually 10 construction days to complete those railroad crossings. Shift over to Suffolk for Rail Pros. Indian Trail was still pending flag personnel, Wiggins Road. We're going to start that on Monday, the 17th, as they gave us flag personnel to go out there. The G&W constructions, they're under construction in progress right now. Those are pending to be completed early December, all 5. We have that timeline set to where we're going to complete at least, say, 2 a week after that. But progress could be moving faster depending on flag personnel is able to get out there with us at this time. And the CXX crossing that we had for last month has been completed on Holland Road. The Bridge Road reload, that is under construction portion. That construction underground is complete. We're at the aerial section that we have to go up and over at this time. So we're on the cusp of that to do the aerial portion, but the underground portion of that section is done at this time in the city of Suffolk. Moving over to Virginia Beach. Right now we have a total of 31 permits that need to be submitted. We have submitted all 31 permits. There's an update that came in today. So instead of 27, Danella has submitted all 31 permits at this time. From a permit approval standpoint, we do have 22 permits approved from the city of Virginia Beach at this time. So I would like to thank, before moving to the next slide, Amanda Jarrett and her team, Kathy Warren, Scott Steen, for helping us kind of go over the getting these things executed in a timely pace. Also Michelle Barnaby, Robert Hausneck, Ronzel Navarro, and also Ms. Wilson and Mr. Wallace and Edward from the Virginia Beach team that are getting us across the finish line. Okay. So it doesn't show here, but we do have everything submitted as of yesterday. We have 22, like I said, permits approved at this time. So we're full force ahead to getting Danella on the scene, continue construction and start construction where we need to be. So this is the construction schedule as it relates right now. So we have a proposed schedule. I'll have a full schedule by Monday, and I will share that with the City of Virginia Beach permitting team as well as we continue our calls on a weekly basis to kind of execute the next obstacles and steps, inspections, and getting the personnel out on the field with our crews at this time for pre-cons. So we do have permits P and Q that we called and located to Virginia 811. Permit P, construction should start next week in Virginia Beach. And then after the holiday of Thanksgiving, permit Q will be the next one. So we will have one construction crew starting next week, and after the Thanksgiving holiday, we'll have 2 construction crews, one on each permit working at this time. We do have a ramp-up schedule for the construction crews. So before December, towards the holiday in December, we'll have 4 drills in market, and we're looking to ramp up to 8 drills in January after the holidays. Of the 8 drills and 4 drills, I would say we have to keep in mind that we have to have locates cleared, called in and cleared for that. So depending how much paint the locators can get in front of us and the crews, That's how fast our production will run. So we can have 8 drills, but they don't have enough paint on the ground to keep them moving from a locate perspective, and the crews cannot move forward. We are going to be working with locating crews within the market, UtiliQuest and USIC, to see how we can expedite some of this stuff on our behalf for the SNA and DeNovo as well. Cable crews will be coming into mid-January in Virginia Beach to start pulling fiber once we get a good amount of conduit into the ground as well. Also keep in mind there's a moratorium on certain permits restrictions that we received from the city of Virginia Beach. We did reach out to them on last week's call, permitting team, and they're going to work with us to an extent. They have a capital improvement project in these 6 permits that I have here, LG, G2, D, F, and K. We provided them the information that they needed to kind of work around the schedule on the CPI project they're running, and we're waiting to hear back from them as well. So we have 2 scheduled. We have one with the restrictions and one without the restrictions right now. So hopefully by next week we know which one we're going to execute, but we know we're going to start in permits P and Q in the next 2 weeks as well. Okay. Moving over to the city of Portsmouth. So we're still working on the permit for a tunnel facility drive. We're working with Todd with the city on that one. We're supposed to have that within a week or so in our hands. And then the Midtown Tunnel VDOT, which we're going to talk about in the next slide. So in the past few months, I've been working with VDOT in regards to the Midtown Tunnel, how we can get across. So working with them, they have a couple of locations within the northern section of our ring in Suffolk and Norfolk. They would like to add some facilities and conduit and also fibers along that path. With that, we were requesting the approach from the Western Freeway Bridge to the Midtown Tunnel, the eastbound tunnel crossing, the tunnel egress to regional connectivity ring. That's our request from VDOT to give us access to the Midtown Tunnel. In return, from the in-kind compensation, we'll provide dark fibers to the SNA will provide dark fibers to VDOT, which is about 17.6 miles between Suffolk and Norfolk. Some construction areas in meet points. They have 3 areas in which we require new construction that's not running parallel with the RCR ring at this time. And those are, let me see, go back one. If you look on the screen here in the orange, on the top here, and at the bottom orange, those are the 3 locations that they will need additional construction that's not tied to the RCR ring at this time. And this in return, we'll provide dark fibers, we mentioned handholds for meet locations, tunnel maintenance, that is part of this agreement, and infrastructure maintenance over the lifetime of the agreement that will perform maintenance as needed for VDOT. Questions?
Yeah, one quick question on the last slide. So when you say tunnel maintenance, what does that mean?
So in part of it, so we have to repair some of the conduit that's in there as part of the galvanized steel, and that's part of this agreement. So
Their conduit?
yes, that's correct.
Other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Nixon.
All right, I'm going to provide just a few updates here. If you have any questions, just feel free to chime in. So the first thing is, as you guys know, we've been having meetings about new entities joining the SNA. So the last event that we had was all of the Southside CAOs were gathered here at HRPEC. This was on November 3rd to discuss the 2 entities, Newport News and Hampton, joining the SNA. The consensus was at the end of that meeting that we needed to provide a detailed expense report, basically a business case for the SNA on the operating funds already spent by the member cities. So I am in the process of developing that financial model, and then we will reconvene. The consensus also in the room amongst the CAOs was about completing the ring construction before bringing any other entities into the SNA as well. So with those two things, once they are completed, we will reconvene the conversation about Hampton and Newport News potentially joining the SNA. Any questions regarding those new entities? All right. So the next item, as you know, we have a P&B committee, also known as the Personnel and Budget Committee. We've had one meeting thus far, and we had that meeting virtually on Wednesday, October 22nd. It was a great meeting. A lot of things that were talked about. I think we're only scheduled to meet for an hour and a half, and the meeting was over 2 hours talking about very important things, Personnel and Budget Committee, policies, mostly related to, for example, Virginia retirement system, whether or not the SNA being a small entity should potentially join one of the member cities. That was Ms. Fitzpatrick's recommendation, potentially. So we are exploring that. We'll have our next meeting. We're talking about when we're going to have that. I will say for Ms. Wilson, Marjorie joining was a big lift to the meeting. She is very knowledgeable, and having her on the team was great. So that was a great recommendation. Thank you. So Mr. Lockerbie has also provided a draft of the policy manual. We're in the process, everyone on the team, of reviewing that policy manual. It's about 40 or 60 pages, Mike?
I think it's about 63,
Yeah.
64 area.
Yeah. So we're in the process of getting through that, and we'll talk about it in more detail at our next meeting. Any questions on the P&B committee? Okay. Next slide. Finance update. The main thing here is at the bottom, and I know it's a little bit hard to see. We have paid almost $17 million for the project thus far. That does not include the Chesapeake co-build. We have not submitted that payment yet. And we have about $10.5 million left to go on the project. And also, and I think it was 2 board meetings ago, we projected that we would have only at the end of the fiscal year about $140,000 left over. Due to the interest that we have accrued, as you can see at the bottom, we'll have $284,000 left at the end of the fiscal year. So that's just a high-level snapshot of finance update. Any questions? Move to the next slide. So one of the things I wanted to do was, with the delays of getting GTS, the infrastructure, we wanted to come up with a contingency. So just in the case that the member cities would have to fund the SNA for another fiscal year, we wanted to kind of get at least a high-level budget in place as a contingency plan. This is what you see before you, and basically this is $149,000 for each member city, and this is only $10,000 more than the previous year. But at this point, this is just a draft and an option for us to consider. So we wanted the member cities to have that, so if we have to come to the member cities supporting the SNA for the upcoming fiscal year, that is the ballpark number.
Just as reference, Marcellus and I talked about this in detail. His first budget was a lot more than this.
Yes.
A lot more than this. And I suggested that, given the constraints that each of our cities is going through right now, that we basically maintain the budget year over year, that we don't increase the budget. And so he's ratcheted back where we are. And then I also said, let's have a contingency plan too. If depending on what happens with construction, if we're not able to turn over for some reason the ring and there isn't that payment, what would it be in for the city? So we would try to be as conservative as possible with the budget approach, and we haven't presented it in entirety, but there's not, unfortunately, in columns that says 2026, but you would see some very similar numbers there.
Yes.
So there isn't a significant increase of any sort. That was really important. I welcome your feedback on that as well.
For keeping your costs.
Let's get this thing finished and figure out where we are, and then we can start talking about, do we grow, do we not grow? What would that look like? What are the additional needs? But there were some significant things that are in there in terms of management of the fiber systems, GIS. I think that they're all good areas that we need to consider in the future, but right now, this is not the time to do it, given where we are in our respective communities. So, Marcel, did I get that right?
Yes, you did. All right. Any other questions or any comments? Okay. So the next item that we want to talk about here is, right now, the SNA has been asked to provide asset needs and conceptual design consultation with the cities of Hampton, Newport News, and Suffolk. So we have a master services agreement that Mr. Lockerbie developed, and also proposals from the SNA. So what we would do here is map out the entire city. You guys have heard me talk about that before, to put them on a plan to deploy fiber within their cities. So they're asking the SNA to act as a consultant, and we would basically issue an RFP and then manage that consultant as we perform the services on this project. So with 2.5 resources on the SNA staff, we would love to do this work ourselves, but we just don't have the sites.
Just to be clear, crystal clear, Newport News, Hampton, Suffolk, they're all considering these. They would be paying the SNA for this, so there would be no expense for us. It'd be a pass-through, and there will be a portion of administrative costs that the SNA will receive in terms of managing this as well. So this isn't, we're just going to take it out of all the money that each of our cities have paid. This is something that would come in, and we would only do it if that money is coming in from those respective cities. And they're considering right now, it's not part of their, this isn't part of their upcoming budget. This is something that they have
It's
money.
part of the current budget,
Right.
at least 2 of the cities.
So this potentially will start within this fiscal year.
Yes. So keep in mind that that would mean it would happen before July 1st. Okay.
Any questions for Mr. Nixon?
Maybe a legal question is, so the managed services agreement, so the entity now has become an organization that is doing, well, procurement of sorts, right? Because we're procuring another organization to do the work. So my only caveat is that we'd have to go through we haven't gone through our procurement process, procurement officer, so we got to explore that as we.
So that's my next request of the board, would be that we would develop and then publish an RFP to follow regular, normal procurement practices. We would develop and post that RFP, and then we would receive those responses. We would narrow it down to at least 2 potential consultants. We would interview them, and then we would choose the consultant. So to be clear, we're not choosing a consultant for each one of the projects. We would basically have one consultant that we would work with on every one of them, and then rinse and repeat going forward. So I am requesting or asking the board to approve the SNA issuing or developing and issuing that RFP.
Yeah, my only point is that as a city, we have to go through a procurement process too, right? So even though SNA is offering these services, I'm just saying, okay, I'm not a procurement officer, but why, we have to compete it to someone else. I guess what I'm saying.
Well, the city can do a contract directly with us because we're another public body.
Okay.
However, we are going to have to follow the Public Procurement Act. If you recall,
Yeah.
this board adopted the HRPDC procurement policy. I worked with Bob and his procurement people on some of their procurement forms and their procurement policy, and so their procurement policy is incredibly well developed, and so we're going to follow those procedures, which I don't think are any problem or really, I mean, I have to admit, his people are amazing, and they've taken what I prepared and made it better.
Perfect, thanks for.
Are you comfortable
Yeah.
with that? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good question, right, regarding the procurement, because every city kind of do their own thing when it comes to that, following the guidelines. What about the actual money or transfer from the agency? You also have to have approval from council to make that happen, or is that contract covers it as well?
So the contract with each of the cities, so the master services agreement with each of the cities would have to be adopted by council or by the city manager, whatever their internal process is. Obviously, I'm not going to tell Newport News how to manage their internal contracting process. But whatever it is that they want to do, and then we would have a separate procurement in order to provide a lot of the as Marcella says, he's got 2.5 employees. He's dependent upon contractors and managing those contractors and the information that they provide to be able to provide those services.
Thank you.
Good discussion. Any other questions? So Marcellus, when you say you are looking for us to approve this, do we have to take a specific vote on this, or is it just a general nod of agreement?
Just,
I believe you're looking for a vote to offer to each of the 3 cities, Suffolk, Newport News, and Hampton, that we would be willing to enter into the managed services agreement, or excuse me, the master services agreement, and to approve also publishing, but not awarding a contract or entering a contract, an RFP for us to have a consultant on a term contract to provide these awards to. Does that make sense? To make the actual award and enter the contract with this contractor, that will come back to you.
yes.
Okay. So yes. So I'm looking for a motion that says exactly what Mr. Lockley just said.
Sorry.
That's all good. So moved. Is there a second?
Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Did you call it city out individually?
I can. All we need is a voice vote.
That's
We're-
correct, but
We can do that.
if a member wants to have a roll call, we
Sure.
can ask for that.
Okay.
Before we vote, so one clarification, so if the other cities are interested, can they do this too? So I know are we voting for this to be available to all the member municipalities?
Thank you for the clarification.
I think that it would need to come back for additional municipalities. I don't know why the authority board wouldn't be
Okay.
willing to do that, particularly if we're realizing net income that keeps our staff employed and busy, but employed, busy, paid. But yeah, obviously, that's up to you in the future.
So in terms of just the discussion standpoint, I just want to also clarify. So this isn't a done deal. This is just the approval that allows us to potentially enter into these agreements with these 3 cities, 1. 2, I think that I personally, and I would ask others to speak up on this, the one concern, we have 2.5 people here, yes, we are going to contract out, this is still going to need to be managed by our staff. So at any point that this supersedes the main focus, which is getting this ring done, I think is going to be the general concern. So is there any assurance that you can provide us, or, I think this is important because it ultimately enables a stronger Southside Network Authority, but I think there's just cautiousness amongst at least myself and others. Can you maybe talk to that point?
So this is why we have engaged, we will engage or issue an RFP for consultants. We've already had discussions with a number of them already about what our expectations are. As I said earlier, Mr. Lyon and I would love to do this ourselves, but we don't have the cycles. So a big part of this initiative is fielding, so getting out and actually walking the streets and collecting all this information. So we will lean very heavily on the consultants. We're just setting expectations, and we will have basically weekly meetings with the consultant, maybe spending about 5 hours a week on this whole thing.
Ms. Wilson asked
Do we
the
have a cost
question
for this?
if there's a cost to this. This will be part of the RFP process.
Is there a cost to developing the RFP? Is that what you're asking?
I think it's a potential services cost that will come to the city to pay. I
No.
imagine not paying anyone
No.
on that.
Oh, would there be a cost to the cities?
No, I mean, what is the cost of doing the
Ms. Wilson,
assessment?
can you clarify what your question is? I think we're not sure what you're asking.
Well, if we're gonna be hiring a consultant, he's gonna be expected to be paid.
That's what I'm saying, that's what I clarified earlier. The cities of Suffolk, Newport News, Hampton will be paying for any costs incurred. Yeah, so there won't be a cost to the Southside Network Authority. Moreover, there will be a small
Suffolk,
stipend.
Hampton, Newport News.
Correct, that's what I'm saying. And then there will be a small stipend awarded to the, as part of the contract management fee that the SNA will receive as well. Approximately $20,000 to $30,000 per contract. Is that correct, Mr. Anderson?
Yes, it's 37.5 to be exact.
Ms. Ritter?
Just to add a clarification.
Sure.
Each city will individually engage.
Correct.
So that we're not expecting the cities on the peninsula to move forward, but Suffolk would like perhaps to move forward. And that would be their individual decision.
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
And and it's been indicated that the peninsula cities are interested, but they have to go through the process and vote whatever that's required of their council or their city manager.
But it's up to them,
It is up to
their
them.
entry.
Right. But before we can even get to that point, we as a body have to take a vote to allow us to go enter into a master services agreement, should they choose to do this.
Okay. One more quick question.
It doesn't obligate us, I guess.
Maybe to Mr. Crum, I hate to throw this in if it's at all distracting. Is this a PPEA type opportunity or no?
Ms. Ritter, thank you. That's a good question. I think that when I work with Mr. Lockaby, this would fall under our normal request for proposal procurement procedure rather than a PPEA. It's for professional services. It would be a competitive procurement process. Your SNA staff would be the project manager. So, Mr. Lockaby, I do not believe it would be a good PPEA opportunity, but I rely on your expertise.
No, typically a PPEA opportunity is going to have both a design component as well as either a build or long-term maintenance component. This is about developing the asset assessment. So it's really almost some pre-design work so that the cities know what, frankly, they know what problems and opportunities they have.
So it's just asset evaluation. Is that how you understand it, Dr. K?
Yes,
Is that what
yeah,
you're
basically
asking?
existing asset inventory of all our fiber passings. I will mention, and Marcel's having an opportunity to circle back with you, but timing, do we do it now? Do we, is back to back to where Chair McClellan was talking about, does it divert resources? Two other things though, in the city of Suffolk, we have two significant initiatives going on. One is the Glow Fiber. So the Glow Fiber will be built out until spring, and then our VADI will be completed in Suffolk probably about spring to, at the latest, May or June. So we can discuss after this goes in place, the actual start time. As far as the funding, ours is going to be using multi-year money, so it's already been designated for fiber inventory, but it's multi-year, so it doesn't have to be, used and spent by the end of this fiscal year.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? Use your cheat sheet and call for a voice, or a roll call vote here. Okay, Chesapeake, Ms. Ritter.
Yes.
Norfolk, Ms. McClellan, yes. Portsmouth, Mr. Hayes,
Mr. Hayes had to step out for a 1:30 call.
okay. Mr. Suffolk, Dr. K.
Yes.
Virginia Beach, Ms. Wilson.
Virginia Beach is going to abstain for now. We're not ready to make a decision yet.
Is that a no?
No, I said we're going to abstain for now.
Okay, I didn't know.
Excuse
Mr.
me?
Lockerbie, can you
Pardon?
explain? I was asking our council.
We're not ready to make a decision at this time.
Okay.
That abstention is just a not vote. So just like Portsmouth is treated as not having voted because they were absent, Virginia Beach is treated as not having voted because they elected to abstain. So there were 3 votes that counted toward the quorum.
Okay, okay, thank you. So it's 3-2, the motion passes.
3-0.
3-0-2. Oh, yes, thank you, 3-0. 3 ayes, 0 nays, 2 abstentions. Thank you for clarifying. Okay, thank you, Mr. Nixon.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the order for your report? Okay. Mr. Lockerbie, would you please provide the language for the closed session motion?
I can. I'm going to read the first part. I'm going to defer to Mr. Nixon on exactly who is needed in the closed session, Mr. Nixon, or to you, because I am not entirely certain. So anyhow, Madam Chair, I believe you're looking for a motion to convene a closed session for 2 purposes. First, pursuant to Section 2.2-3711, subsection A29 of the Code of Virginia of 1950 as amended, which I'll call the Code, for the purposes of discussion of the award of a public contract involving the expenditure of public funds and discussion of the terms or scope of such contract, where discussion in open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the authority relating to a contract with the Virginia Department of Transportation, and pursuant to subsection A33 of the Code for the of Section 2.2-3711 of the Code, for the purpose of discussion or consideration by the authority of confidential proprietary information and trade secrets, subject to the exclusion in subdivision 19 of Section 2.2-3705.6 of the Code relating to the Spark/SNA partnership business opportunities. I know that it is going to be necessary for the executive director, the deputy executive director, the general counsel, the executive director of the PDC, and the assistant to the executive director of the authority to be in there, as well as the board members. I'm going to, after that, turn and look at that end of the table for any further listings.
I would say any city employee is here in support of the SNA can be included as well. So CIOs, project managers, et cetera. They're specific to the city.
And GTS and Spark.
And GTS and Spark?
Yep.
Okay. And that is for both, for the entirety of the closed session?
Yes.
Okay. Great. So I'm sure that's clear. Is there a motion?
Do you need 2 separate motions?
I think that for the purposes of this, given that it's going to be the same group of people, that it's permissible for us to do both closed sessions at the same time, go in, come out, rather than having to go in and out for each separate item.
Okay, in that case, I make the motion to hold the closed sessions as listed.
Thank you. It's been moved by Ms. Ritter. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are now in closed session. Read the language to bring us out of closed session, please.
Yes, Madam Chair, I believe you're asking for a motion to return to open session and to certify by a roll call vote that to the best of each member of the board's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements of the Freedom of Information Act, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed session was convened were heard, discussed, or considered during the closed session by the public body. Any member of the public body who believes that there was a departure shall so state prior to their vote.
Okay. Is there a motion to that extent? Ms. Ritter has so moved. Seconded by Ms. Wilson. Any discussion? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Ritter?
Yes.
Ms. McClellan, yes. Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Dr. K?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Do I need to call the alternates or no, Mr.?
I would recommend that you do because they are board members for the
Okay.
purposes
Ms.
of the closed
Fitzpatrick?
session.
Yes.
Mr. Bieber?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes, we already did. Ms. Days? Did she vote? Okay.
She can't vote
You
because she
cannot,
was
sorry, Ms.
not
Days, you weren't
voting.
here, and so that's okay. Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Okay. We are now out of closed session and we're back into open session. Great. And so our next item is, we've got 2 items to vote on out of closed session. The first item is we need a motion to approve the executive director to negotiate the agreement with VDOT to, for in-kind to access and cross the Midtown Tunnel as discussed. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. K. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Ritter. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the second item is to approve a change order as presented that will be for Danella should a future VDOT agreement be executed based on the cost of the construction, $508,000.
And that's only to be executed and delivered upon conclusion of the
And that's only to
agreement.
be executed and delivered upon the execution of the VDOT agreement. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Hayes. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. It's been seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Is there any old business for the authority to discuss? Any new business? Okay. Hearing none. This meeting is adjourned. See you in December.